we focus on Hong Kong as we continue with our coverage of the spread of the coronavirus. The Chinese territory has so far recorded a little more than 40 cases. But with a population of around 8 million packed together in dense residential housing, fears are growing that the number of infections will rise. On Tuesday, authorities evacuated some 100 residents from an apartment block after some tested positive for the virus. The coronavirus has raised fears of a repeat of the SARS epidemic of 2003, when Hong Kong's death toll was nearly the same as on the Chinese mainland. The territory's leader, Carrie Lam, has asked a nervous public to come together to fight the virus.
But let me just make this clear again. In order to fight this virus, Hong Kong needs the full cooperation and active participation of every member of society. This is a time for social cohesion. This is a time for every one of us to display civic responsibility.
That call for responsibility going out not just to a nervous public, but also a divided one. For months, the city had been tearing itself apart over weekly pro-democracy protests. But the government's alleged inept handling of the coronavirus crisis has added another layer of distrust to an already frayed relationship with the public. DW's Charlotte Chelsom-Pill has more.
The face mask, an emblem of Hong Kong's lurch from one crisis to another. Once an icon of the pro-democracy demonstrations, now it offers protection against the new coronavirus. With the street protests now largely at an end, Hong Kong's focus has shifted. Where images of violent street battles once covered these walls, now it's the battle against the virus that dominates, with one common thread underpinning both: distrust of the government and its chief executive, Carrie Lam.
The posters on the wall may have changed, but taking a look around, it is clear that the anger which fueled months of protests can't be papered over quite as easily.
As the death toll in China mounts, many have slammed Hong Kong for keeping its borders open, while the severe shortage of face masks and hand sanitizer have sparked panic buying and fear. One prominent voice in amongst the anger is Hong Kong's vast community of pro-democracy activists. During the protests, campaigners Simon Lau and Carmen Kwong used this space to make props for the demonstrations. When the virus hit, they swapped helmets for hand sanitizer, using their network to source the donations and ingredients. Filling in, they say, where authorities have failed. Proof that while they may have pushed pause on the protests, the movement is just as focused as ever.
I'm very confident we will go to the street again, because this government will upset all Hong Kong people. Not just our political belief, but also the old people in the community. Normally, they are the supporter of the establishment. But now you can see they're quiet, but they're very angry.
For Simon and Carmen, altruism goes hand in hand with political pragmatism. They believe that as the virus spreads, so will anti-government sentiment, and it's that they hope to harness to push for democratic change.
After the virus, the comeback is a strong movement in. Why I'm very confident is because the failure of the system. People will understand from all walks of life. The virus become why it's so fierce and fear because of the system.
To activists like Simon, it's always been clear their battle would not be fought and won with street protests alone. The pro-democracy campaign's proven it can adapt, and it's actions like this that could become a new face of the movement, as anger over the government's handling of the virus breeds discontent across the political spectrum.